Dear English literature learners, I'd like to give you some idea on brief questions with answers on the Reformation Age Part A. My next video will be on short questions with answers on the Reformation Age Part B. Reformation Age 1485 to 1603, Henry VII, 1485 to 1509, Henry VIII, 1509 to 1547, Edward VI, 1547 to 1553, Mary, 1553 to 1558, Elizabeth, 1558 to 1603. Part A. Brief questions with answers on Reformation Age. What is Reformation? The Reformation was a religious movement based on the opposition of the people to the claims of papal authority and the Church of Rome. In other words, it was a Protestant rising against Roman Catholicism. It began in 1517 with Martin Luther. Question 2. When did the Reformation begin? Answer. The Reformation began in the later part of Henry VIII and continued through the reigns of Edward IV and Mary till the accession of the Queen Elizabeth. Question number 3. Who was Martin Luther? Answer. Martin Luther, 1483 to 1546, was a German revolutionist. The teachings of Martin Luther resulted in a religious revolt, 1517. It transformed the Reformation from merely an attack on the abuses of the church into an attack on the church itself. Question number 4. Why did Parliament pass a number of acts? The Parliament passed a number of acts to confirm England's breach with Rome. Question number 5. Mention some acts which were passed by the Long Parliament of the Reformation. Answer. Some acts were passed by the Long Parliament of the Reformation. These are given below. Number 1, Acts of Altenderry. Number 2, Annette's Act. Number 3, Act of Appeals. Number 4, Acts of Uniformity. Number 5, Acts of Supremacy, etc. Question number 6. Who was Cromwell during the Age of Reformation? Answer. Cromwell was a ruthless and unscrupulous politician. He has been deeply influenced by Machiavelli's The Prince. Cromwell was appointed Lord Chancellor in place of Wolsey. Question number 7. When did King Edward IV die? Who succeeded after him? Answer. King Edward IV died in 1553. He was succeeded by his half-sister Mary. Question number 8. What was the immediate result of the Reformation? Answer. The immediate result of the Reformation was that it evolved a new kind of religion of the home, especially middle class and quite unmedieval. The common people tended to become Protestants alike from the interest and conviction. Question number 9. What is the effect of Reformation in religious literature? Answer. The Reformation produced the English Bible and the Book of Common Prayer. It also produced a number of tracts, treatises, sermons, and books of devotion. Question number 10. What do you mean by the authorized version of the Bible? Answer. The authorized version of the Bible, or King James Version, was the translation of the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament. It was published in 1611. Question number 11. Who was Anne Boleyn? Anne Boleyn is the last wife of Henry VII and the mother of Queen Elizabeth I. Question number 12. What do you mean by Protestantism? Answer. Protestantism is the system of beliefs and teachings of the Protestants. In 1517, Martin Luther protested against the unprincipled and flippant principles that were disgracing religion. The Protestants demanded the independence of the church. Question number 13. Who was Erasmus? Erasmus was the earliest Protestant. His Praise of Folly, 1511, acquired immense popularity. He was a Dutch scholar and a great friend of the English humanists. Question number 14. Who was Calvin? Answer. Calvin was a French reformer. He had an ordered and well-reasoned system of theology. The followers of Calvin in England were, in fact, the spiritual ancestors of the great Puritan movement of the 17th century. Question number 15. Who was Sir Thomas More? Answer. Sir Thomas More, 1478 to 1535, was a great humanist and a great scholar. His famous work, Utopia, 1516, was a memorable work in the history of English literature. Question number 16. Who is Sir Thomas Eliot? Answer. Sir Thomas Eliot was an educationist of the age of Reformation. He is only known by his book, The Governor, 1531. It is a treatise on education written for those who would be called to govern the country. Question number 17. Who is Sir Thomas Wilson? Answer. Sir Thomas Wilson, 1925 to 1581, 1525 to 1581, was an educationist, but he is solely concerned with the problem of style. In his book, The Art of Rhetoric, 1553, he advocates purity and simplicity of language. Question number 18. Who is Roger Ascham? Roger Ascham, 1515 to 1568, was the most popular educationist of the Reformation. He was the tutor to Princess Elizabeth and later Latin secretary to Queen Mary. He is known for his the Scholar Master, 1570. Question number 19. Why is William Tyndale famous for? Answer. William Tyndale is famous for his translation of the Bible in 1522. He was the most important member of a group of scholars known as the Cambridge Reformers. Question number 20. When was the authorized version of the Bible published? Answer. The authorized version of the Bible was published in 1611. It was a grand achievement of Elizabethan literature. Question 21. Who is Thomas Cranmer? Answer. Thomas Cranmer was a great educationist of the Reformation period. The effect of Reformation is perceived in the compilation of a prayer book from Latin under the title The Book of Common Prayer in 1549. Question 22. Who is Hugh Latimer? Hugh Latimer, 1485 to 1555, was a great educationist and preacher. His sermons exercised a healthy influence on the development of English prose. Question 22. Who is John Foxe? 1516 to 1587. John Foxe was a great educationist of the Reformation period. He is known for his book of the Martyrs. It was the most popular work of this period outside the Bible. Who is John Chick? John Chick was one of the great educationists of the Reformation period. In his book Heart of Sedition, 1549, he shows himself to be a conservative opposed to the frequent risings against the king. Thank you for watching. I'm Shamim Sarwar. My next video is on the short questions and answers on the Reformation age part B. Have a nice day.